So the other day, I was running with my dog. I have a little 5-month-old Yorkshire Terrier who's just full of energy, loves to run, right? So we're on the sidewalk, and there's this woman ahead of us. And so I'd run a little bit, and we'd catch up to her. And the dog, of course, would want to kind of sniff her and make a friend and stuff. And then I'd double back to where my husband was. And so we were kind of going back and forth. And this woman caught on to what we were doing, right? And so eventually, when we finally caught up to her again, right, she started running too, right? And so she took a cue, right? And she was paying attention, okay? So that point that I want to make is that she was really paying attention, and she kind of joined in with us with what we were doing, okay? So today is Challenge Me Monday. I'm Wanda Thibodeau, the host of the Faithful on the Clock podcast. And the verse that I have for your challenge today is Acts 16:25. And that says, about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. So what was that? They were paying attention. Okay. Now, if you know the story of Paul and Silas, what happens when they're in that prison is that because Paul and Silas don't give up, they're continuing to worship God, even in those horrible circumstances. Because of that, there were people who converted and who started believing in Jesus. Okay, which is a pretty amazing thing that was able to happen, okay? But it would never have happened if Paul and Silas would have kept their mouths shut, right? If they wouldn't have shared that praise, okay? So the point that I want to get at with this challenge for you today, what I want you to do is the things about your faith that maybe you're kind of keeping a little closeted, that you're not letting people hear, or maybe your behavior, you're kind of, maybe you're doing a Bible study, but you don't tell anybody. I want you to bring those out in the open a little bit. Now, of course, in the workplace, you got to be a little bit careful how you do that. But the point is, if it's open, people can see it, people can hear it. That's a testimony. And sometimes that makes people curious. And they come over to you and say, hey, what is that? You know what I mean? And then that's your opportunity. That's your opening to say, hey, this is about Jesus or whatever. Okay? And it's also a moment sometimes, too, like if you're alone and you're struggling in your faith, you don't really have any Christian friends. Sometimes when people hear that, they're like, hey, I know that song. Hey, you're a Christian too, right? And that becomes a way to connect, okay? So that's what I want you to do, is just bring it out in the open. If you've been a little bit scared to do that, just go for it, okay? It doesn't have to be super, huge. Maybe if you're in the park, you have some Christian music on while you're grilling in the park, right? It's not a huge thing, but it's just that you're not hiding it anymore, okay? And you purposely continue to worship God, even in places that maybe get a little uncomfortable, okay? That's my challenge. Let me know who you connect with and how that goes in the comments below. Take care, everybody.